Hopefully y'all had a good weekend. My name is Anna. For those who don't know, this is our Living Well yoga. So super excited and happy to be here. Make sure my mic is all good. All right, feel free, for those on Zoom, you can listen to any music you want to. And I don't think I have any announcements. So we have 45 minutes together. We're going to start with our breathing and meditation. You can lay down on your backs or you can stay in a seated position and just get comfortable. That's all you got to do for the first couple minutes. Music going. So once again, just getting comfortable wherever you are, feeling free to move around or change positions. If you're noticing a position that you get into doesn't feel good for you today, remembering every day might feel different. Certain poses or positions might feel better certain days. Maybe closing your eyes, shifting your focus inward. Taking these first few minutes to check in with your body and how you're feeling today, both physically and mentally. As we come onto our mats today, I want us to think about something that I learned during my yoga training, but that I think is always a good reminder. And that is that yoga is so much more than just the physical poses and the movement that we get for our bodies today. We call that the asanas. Yoga has 8 different limbs, and one of them is the poses, one of them is the breath, but then all of the others are all introspective and elements that we can take into our everyday lives as we move off of our mats. So maybe for today, thinking about how you can take a little bit of that yoga practice into your daily life when you move off your mat. Acknowledging that we showed up today. Oftentimes that's the hardest part, is simply showing up. But we made it, we're here. So taking this time to set your intentions for your practice, whatever that might be, whatever it is that you're wanting to get out of the practice today. And as you start to do that, start to explore that deeper diaphragmatic breathing. Inhaling deep from the belly, bringing the breath up into the chest, and then exhaling from the chest back down. Really thinking about how big you can expand your belly, expanding your diaphragm, and slowing down each inhale and exhale, bringing that sense of calm and peace and relaxation into our mind and into our bodies. Letting go of any competition, letting go of judgment of ourselves and others, and letting go of expectations. Those are 3 things we say every yoga practice, every time we step onto our mats. And those are 3 examples of things that we can also incorporate into our everyday lives. Especially that judgment piece, right? Letting go of judgment of ourselves and letting go of judgment of others. Remembering that this practice is just ours and ours alone. Knowing again that every day is different. Every day our bodies might feel different. We might have different needs. So using this time now and throughout our poses to explore what it is that your body needs today. Remembering that you're in control of your practice and you have the power to choose what feels best for you today. Continuing to find this nice diaphragmatic breathing throughout our class, or finding any other breath practice that feels good for you as well, that pranayama. Wherever you are, either seated or on your mats, on your backs, maybe taking your hands down by your sides. We start to move the arms with our breath. So just getting comfortable with that motion, inhaling, the arms lift overhead, and exhaling, hands back down by our sides. Getting used to how that feels with the breath and just exploring that in our bodies today, seeing how our shoulders are feeling. Maybe making circles out to the sides or taking the arms straight up and over, whatever feels best for us. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. And on your second exhale, drawing your knees into your chest. If we're in a seated position, we can slowly make our way down to our mats, on our backs. Knees can come out wide if that feels better for us, or into the chest. And then as we're ready, we're just going to take our feet to our hips, to the mat, right in line with our hips. So toes in line with the heels, the feet are parallel on the mat. You can always look up at your feet to check that position. Hands by the side. As we inhale, we slowly peel the hips, the spine up off the mat to the sky into that bridge pose. Exhale, slowly lowering back down to the mat. And just taking that at your own pace. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Starting to add some warmth in our core and our back body here. Maybe feeling a little length in our hip flexors as we lift, opening through the hips. Pressing into our feet, feeling that contact point on the mat, that grounding sensation. Let's take 2 more rounds of our bridge flow. Option if you want to take that segmented or articulated bridge where you peel the spine off the mat, tailbone lifts, low back lifts, mid back, upper back, and then reversing it. When we finish our second round of our bridge, we'll just meet on our mats, walking our feet nice and wide to the long edges. And then let's just drop our knees side to side. Nice little release in the hip flexors. I always like to do this and just notice maybe how each side of the body feels. Does internal or external rotation in the hip feel better today? Or maybe just noticing how our hips are feeling today. And then as we're ready, we'll draw the knees back into the chest, rolling over to one side or taking ourselves up to the tops of our mats, flipping around to our all fours, hands and knees. So hands come to the front of the mat, feet to the back, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, making sure we have some space between the knees. And a lot of times, if we feel like we have any tension in the wrists, I want you to think about pushing into that soft part that connects the thumb and the palm. So pressing actively into that portion of the hand versus maybe the fingers, maybe softening the fingers a little bit. And then we move into our cat and cow, starting with the hips, relaxing the belly to the mat, lifting the head and the heart as we inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, round through the spine, pulling the sit bones into the belly. Just moving at your own pace. Inhale to your cow, exhale to your cat. Feeling free to add anything else onto your cat and cow. I know I've taught a lot of different options in cat and cow. So you can add your feet, you can add your eyes, you can rock side to side or make hip circles. Maybe noticing how the lateral spine feels as we look to side. And then also maybe just noticing and observing how each cat or cow feels. As you're ready, we'll come back to center, finding that all fours. Finding length in our spine, actively thinking about pressing into our right hand and our left knee on the mat. So nothing happens in our body, right? Actively pressing left hand, right knee into the mat. We inhale, reach the right arm and the left leg. So the opposite side reaches while we actively push down into the mat. And then exhale, release and switch. So that little action, that little active press into the mat with the opposite arm and the opposite leg helps us create a little more stability in the core. So active core control. Inhale, we lengthen, and exhale, we lower. If we want to add on to this, we can inhale, lengthen arm and leg. Exhale, maybe the arm and the leg move to the corner of the mat. Inhale back to center and exhale, lower. When we're doing this, are we thinking about heel of the foot pressing back, toes down? When we do that, we activate the muscles in our glutes, which are also very important to our core strength as they connect to our back muscles. They connect to our hips as well. Continuing to move through your bird dog. One more time on each side, feeling that core control and connection from our shoulders to our hips. As we're ready, we'll come back to all fours, hands and knees. We can take a little wrist release again at any time, maybe taking the back of the palm back, little wrist rolls. Finding our all fours once again, inhaling right fingertips to the temple. We open through our thoracic spine as we rotate right. Exhale, right elbow comes across to the opposite side. Inhale, option to reach the arm all the way up to the sky if that feels good. And then exhale, reach it under. We can lower the shoulder down to the mat. Then we press it back up. Inhale, so it's dynamic and active. One more time on this side, we can also come down to our forearm if that feels better for us today. And then coming back to our mats, switching sides. Inhale, we open to the left fingertips to the temple. Exhale, take the elbow across. Inhale, option to reach the arm up to the sky, feeling that nice rotation in the mid back. And exhale, lower. 2 more times on this side. Remembering we can also come down to the forearm if that feels like too much tension on our wrist. Coming back to center, all fours, knees open to the long edges of the mat. We shift our hips back towards our heels, forehead comes down, child's pose. Head can rest on the block, on the mat, on our fists. We can also take our knees as wide as we want to today. I know I mentioned last week, I got to take mine a little wider to make some extra room there for my belly. So just know that's always an option. You can take your child's pose as wide as you want to. Any arm variation in your child's pose is also an option. This is a rest pose that you can take at any time during your practice, but you can also take or come into any other rest pose that might feel better for you. We do use child's pose interchangeably if we're not wanting to move into down dog today as well, or in every yoga class. From our child's pose, let's extend our arms out in front, press ourselves back up, lift our head, our chest, shift into our plank position on our knees. So knees in line with hips, but we shift the hips forward. Active core, so belly button to spine, pressing actively into our palms. Exhaling, we lower down. It's a little chaturanga. Inhale, press back up, elbows by the sides. Exhale, child's pose, sitting back onto the heels. Inhale, option 2 in our half series. Exhale, we can come all the way down onto the mat. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, child's pose. Option 3, if we want to, inhaling forward, exhaling lower down. Inhale, we can press up into our baby cobra. So the baby cobra is where our feet stay down. We pull and squeeze the shoulders back, palms lift. Exhale, press back, child's pose. Inhale, come forward once again, find your plank. Exhale, optional chaturanga. This time pressing into the palms as we inhale, come up if we want to find full cobra. Shoulders pull back. Exhale, child's pose. Moving through that half series just 2 more times at your own pace. Again, we don't have to come down onto our bellies like I'm not for cobra. That's just an option. Meeting back in child's pose when we're ready. If we want to explore downward facing dog, we can, lifting our hips up to the sky, pressing the hips back so that the biceps are by the ears. And we can walk the dog, bend knees right, left, maybe check in. How are our hamstrings, our calves feeling? And then as we're ready, we'll walk the feet to the hands, finding a forward fold, using the block if we want to. Option is a wide forward fold or feet under shoulders, whatever feels good. From here, we soften through our knees, relax the belly towards the thighs, the head towards the knees. We can shake our head yes and no, release the neck and the jaw. And then as you're ready, hands come back to the shins to block the floor. Inhale, we lift up to find our flat back, monkey. Lengthen the spine, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, soften and fold. This time, inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms lift up to the sky in extended mountain. Exhale, we find chair pose. So arms can come out in front or at heart center, weights in the heels. Inhale one more time to our extended mountain. Exhale to our chair. Putting that all together. Inhale, let's lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, soften and fold. Stepping back as we inhale, finding your plank, knees or toes. Exhale, remember your options. Maybe just a little push-up, maybe chaturanga. Maybe inhale to cobra or plank. Exhale, child's pose or down dog. Stepping, lunging, walking to the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Fantastic. One more time with me. Inhale, let's lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we lengthen the spine. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, find your plank. Exhale, options in your half series. Inhale up to cobra or back to your plank. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Stepping, lunging, walking to the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Fantastic. Let's take 2 more rounds of our sun salutations, moving at our own pace. Feeling free to add anything into these that we want to, or the same other option to take anything away that we don't want or that doesn't serve us today. On that cobra, making sure we're squeezing the shoulder blades together, pulling the shoulder blades back, keeping the core nice and active. Feet can be narrow or wide. Moving with our breath here, that's the goal. So there's no rush in the sun salutations. The goal is to build that heat in the body. Once you finish your 2 rounds of your sun salutations, we'll meet back in our down dog or our child's pose, getting ready to move into our strength work. So finishing up whichever sun salutation we're on, moving into our child's pose or our down dog. From our child's pose or down dog, let's take our eye gaze to the top of our mat. We're stepping our left foot forward, finding that nice low lunge. We can have our hands framing our foot, or if it feels better, the hands can come inside the thigh. It's just an option. It makes more space for the belly, I'll be perfectly honest. When you're ready, you can lift your knee. Excellent. And we're going to come up to find high lunge. So finding our first little balance of the day, back heel lifted, hip bones are shining towards the front, knees are both soft. And if we want, we can reach our arms up to the sky. It's an option. Hands at heart center or arms up to the sky. Excellent. Finding a deep inhale. As we exhale, we open to find warrior two. So left knee is bent, right leg is long. Arms can be slightly forward or in line with the shoulders. Back hand maybe is invisible behind us. Relax the shoulders down and back. From here, let's inhale, flip the left palm. Exhale, reverse warrior. The right hand can come to the back thigh or wrap around. The legs stay exactly where they are, opening through that left side of the body. One more big inhale. As we exhale, transition left forearm to front thigh. Right arm up and over, extended side angle. We can release our arm here, roll out the shoulder. Reverse it maybe. Making sure that we're active in this pose. So the right arm is reaching up to the sky, shoulders stacked, and the left arm can move. So we're not falling or pushing our weight into the thigh. It's just there for support. Core is still engaged. As we inhale, let's come back up to our warrior two. I'm going to grab my block here if you want. We're moving into triangle. So from here, we straighten through our left leg, but keeping the knees soft. Reach the right arm back first, then the left arm forward. Wait, don't move yet. Still coming forward. Right arm back, left arm forward. Yep, and then from here, we simply drop the arms. We don't have to lower the chest at all. The goal is not to touch the floor. It's to find length in the pose, opening through the hips as well. So pressing into both feet, hand on the block or on the inside of the calf muscle maybe. Still stacking shoulders. So same arm position or similar arm position as our extended side angle. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, let's come back up to warrior two. So we bend through the left knee. And then as we inhale, we're going to open to the long side of our mat, find our five-pointed star. Exhale, we sink down to find sunflower, release through the hips. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Taking this at your own tempo. Pressing the knees out in line with our toes. Taking one more round here and then meeting back in our five-pointed star. Excellent. Hands move to the hips, toes shift to the long side of the mat. As we soften our knees, we hinge at our hips. Hands come to the block or center of the body weight. And we can shift our hips side to side, bend knees, right, left, inner thigh stretch. Always a good time to check in on how the inner thighs are feeling. Nice smooth transition we're going to make here. As we bend our right knee, so towards the back of our mat, can we walk our hands to the back of our mat, coming into that low lunge position? So the left knee drops, the right knee's bent. Yep, we're just facing the other side. So friends on Zoom, I'm facing you, but you're facing away from me probably. So listening to my voice here from our low lunge, we tuck that back left toe, lift up to find high lunge, right knee forward, left leg back. Arms can be up to the sky or at heart center, whatever feels good. Roll the shoulders into our back pockets, pressing equally into our feet. We take a big inhale here. As we exhale, open to warrior two. Right knee is bent this time. Yep. Knees in line with toes. We can test to make sure our knees are happy. Shoulders relaxed. We can always bring the arms a little forward. Palms are facing down. Finding our breath here. As we inhale, we flip the right palm to the sky, reach back behind us, reverse warrior. Opening through that other side of the body. Hand can be wrapped around us or on the back thigh. Finding the breath here. Finding a sense of ease in each of our poses. So the eyes stay towards the hand or slightly forward so our head isn't putting pressure on our back of our neck. One more big inhale. As we exhale, right forearm to front thigh, left arm reaches overhead, extended side angle. And taking those circles here on the other side if that feels good. Good time to check in with the shoulder. Once we're ready, we'll find some stillness and length in the body in our extended side angle. Again, being sure that we're just using the front thigh for support, a little bit of support. As we inhale, we come up to our warrior two, maybe grabbing our block if we want it for our triangle. We also have the option in triangle to step the feet a little closer. That might feel better for us, whatever feels good. Knees soft, we reach back with the left arm, then forward with the right. Then back with the left one more time. Feel that rib cage isolation. Coming forward with the right, then we lower the hand. When we do this and we lower the hand, we might feel a shift in the hips. They shift back into the left leg. Right arm is stacked over left. Finding length in this pose. And check your right knee. Make sure it's nice and soft. It's not locked out here. Protecting our joints. Reaching up and out of the left arm. Finding one more big inhale. As we exhale, coming back to our warrior two, right knee bends. Inhale, we find our five-pointed star. Exhale, releasing into that sunflower. Taking just a few more rounds of breath here. Nice release through our hips. One more time. Meeting back in our five-pointed star. As we release our hands to our hips, toes can shift forward to the long side of the mat. We soften the knees, hinging at the hips, coming down into that straddle. Hands on the block or the floor. Bending knees right and left one more time if we want to and if it feels good. And then finding some stillness here. If we want to, we can take our heels wider than our toes so the toes kind of come in. This allows us to sink a little deeper into our straddle. So maybe our head comes closer towards the floor. We can also reach our hands under our body towards the other side of the mat. Just deepening this stretch for our hamstrings. If we don't like this wide leg straddle, we can also walk the feet in a little bit and then walk the hands forward, pressing the hips back to find a wide leg down dog. Both great options for releasing through the hips, the hamstrings, and the calves even. Staying here for two more rounds of breath. On our next inhale, let's walk ourselves back to our center. From here, we're turning towards our left leg, so the front of our mat this time, towards me if we're on Zoom. And we're coming back down into that low lunge position, moving into our lizard pose. So the left leg walks to the edge of the mat, the left hand walks in. Option to find our block, sinking our hips down and towards the mat, knees in line with toes. We have the option to lower down onto our forearms if that feels good. Maybe letting the knee fall out to the side a little bit. Maybe taking our eye gaze down or closing our eyes. Just releasing here in our hips, relaxing the muscles in our face and our jaw. On your next inhale, let's walk ourselves back up to our hands, bringing that leg back around in line with our hips, left hand to the outside of the thigh. We're just shifting the hips back to find our nice hamstring stretch. Hands can always come to the hips, the block, the floor. We can point and flex our foot. When we're ready, let's bend our left knee, bringing our hands back to the inside of the thigh, lifting the right knee and coming back to our wide leg straddle. Little release here, anything that you want, anything that you need. And then we're taking our body over to the right foot, the right side, to the back of our mat. Dropping the left knee down to the floor, hands inside the right foot walks to the edge of the mat. Lizard pose on the other side. Hands on the block or forearms on the block or the floor, whatever feels best. We can also let the knee fall out to the side a little bit. Breathing into the hips here, remembering that deep diaphragmatic breath. On our next inhale, let's walk our hands up onto the mat. Shift the right foot back in line with our hips, right hand to the outside of the thigh as we exhale back into our hamstring stretch. Pointing, flexing the foot. Again, whatever feels best here. Finding length in the back of the right leg. I didn't watch all the Grammys last night, but I heard they did a Tina Turner tribute. My favorite was Tracy Chapman and then also Carly Simon did one of my favorite songs by her. That was a good performance. When you're ready, team, let's bend our right leg, come back into our low lunge. Excellent. And then from here, we're going to turn onto the long side of the mat over to face me, face the front of the room, shifting onto our hips to our seated position. Excellent. Legs can be outstretched in front of us. We'll pull one knee into the chest, use it as a break to slowly lower ourselves down onto the mat. Or you can do it my way. Come down to your forearms. Excellent. From here, bringing the knees into the chest one last time as we start to bring that heart rate down. Knees come into the chest here, finding your center. Arms come out into that T pose. And then we're just dropping our knees over to the right side of the mat. You also have the option of keeping your feet on the floor, walking them over to the right side of the mat to find that nice spinal twist. Eye gaze can be in any direction, whatever feels best. As you're ready, we'll slowly bring our knees back to center or walk them back to center and then take them over to the other side. We can always also use our block and our twist by setting our knees onto our block if that feels better for us. As you're ready, let's take the knees back to center. Bringing the knees into the chest one last time. We can take any last and final poses. Maybe we want to take happy baby. If that's the case, we can reach through, grab our ankles or big toes. Legs can come up to the sky, one leg at a time, or we can do both, making sure our knees stay bent. And then if it feels good, we can rock side to side. As you're ready, we'll make our way into our favorite rest pose for our final relaxation. We can come into Shavasana, or knees can be bent, feet together. Knees can be bent, feet on the mat. We can lay on our sides or on our bellies. Just getting into that comfortable position. Maybe starting to close our eyes once again, if that feels good. Shifting our focus inward. Maybe taking this time to check in on our bodies, our minds, and how we're feeling. Bringing ourselves back to that three-part breath, our deep diaphragmatic breath. Seeing how slow we can create our inhales and how slow we can lengthen our exhales. Starting to wiggle our fingers and toes, just bringing that sense of awareness back into our body and our space. When we're ready, we can let our knees fall over to one side of our mat, using our arm as a pillow, just getting adjusted, our blood pressure, our heart rate. And then as we're ready, we can use our arms to press ourselves up, coming back to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, any seated position works. We'll inhale collectively one last time. Arms reach up to the sky. Big inhale. Exhale, bringing our hands into our heart center with that breath. The light in me honors, sees, and observes the light in each and every one of you. So thank you for being here today. Y'all have an awesome rest of your week, and I'll see you next time.